What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here, aka the Geek from DFS Army, and we're taking a look at NFL Week 14 on DraftKings. This is the first look, and let's get right into. We had an incredible Week 13 here at DFS Army, and let's keep it going. I mean, the cores were amazing. We were all over Jalen Hurts to AJ Brown, and of course, every lineup. Garrett Wilson, every line of Christian Watson, got a little lucky there. Samaje Perine all in play. So, DFS Army was absolutely crushing it based on the cores that we put out, and just an incredible week, and seeing all those wins really just gassed me up. Week 13, I want to keep it going. So let's take a look at NFL Week 14 and see if we can do it again. Now, of course, before we take a look at the DraftKings salaries, and I've got a new format for our lineup construction. We're going to do a little bottom-up thing. It's really fun. But before we take a look at that, I just want to get an overview of all the games, get a little thoughts in here on each individual game, and then we'll take a look at the DraftKings salaries for Week 14. So right off the bat, first game, Jets at the Bills. 44-point total. Bills heavy favorites here. And as much as I love Magic Mike, this is probably not the best spot for him to smash. The reality is not the best spot for the Bills either. I always play Josh Allen. That's a rule pretty much every week, but Jets defense is pretty good. So this one will be interesting. Jets have an elite cornerback in Sauce Gardner. Maybe this is the week where Gabriel Davis goes off. His price keeps coming down. So I'm interested in that. Next, we've got the Browns at the Bengals, and oh my goodness, did Deshaun Watson look rusty last week? And I don't think that's going to change here. So I think the Bengals are rightfully significantly favored at home. This one's got a 47-point total, and the game itself has some potential. So obviously, if Deshaun Watson kind of looks better, that'd be a good thing. But as it stands, the Bengals should absolutely destroy them. Browns are really bad versus the run. I don't know. It could be Perine again. We don't know. Mixon, Perine, not sure. If Mixon comes back, I think Perine's been so good. Now it's going to kind of be a little split. So if Mixon is out, we're going to load up on Perine. It's that simple. Texans at the Cowboys. Man, 17-point favored Cowboys. They're going to smash them here. There's not much to say about this game. Stay the hell away from the Texans. Cowboys defense in play. Cowboys defense, my goodness. What an incredible game on Sunday night they put up. And the Texans just stink. They really stink. Nothing to say there. This is the interesting game of the week. The Vikings at the Lions. And this is the one we really want to pay a lot of attention to. Both sides of this game, spectacular. My boy Swift takes over as sort of the lead back for the Lions last week. Vikings, Justin Jefferson, the whole crew. Everybody's in a good spot in this game. We're going to lock and load Vikings at the Lions Vikings. Here we go. All right. Jaguars at the Titans. That one's got a 41.5-point total. Not super exciting. But, the Titans do funnel significantly to the pass, and the Jaguars are a good team to run against. So, I mean, strength on strength here. The Titans, Derrick Henry, maybe they can get him going in this one. That'd be cool. On the Jaguar side, I think we can go back to the passing offense a little bit if we want. Eagles at the Giants, 45.5-point total. Eagles should, we'll see what happens in this game in terms of win-loss. Eagles are really in a great spot to go to the NFC, maybe the Super Bowl. They seem like some of the issues with the 49ers, the Eagles are now the odds-on favorite to make the Super Bowl. Congrats to Eagles fans. And, Hurts, Amon-Ra, the whole crew, everybody's in play, I think, here, but not necessarily a game I'm going to go crazy targeting. Here's an interesting one, and I think an unnecessarily low total game here. 37-point total. Ravens at the Steelers, and this is a misprice, guys. I'm going to tell you something. It looks like Lamar Jackson will be out. Huntley's going to play. Huntley's no different. Huntley's basically the same as Lamar Jackson. They don't lose very much when they go from Lamar. I know they're going to get hate, but they don't lose much going from Lamar to Huntley. Huntley played well. He's a good player. Steelers defense, just all right. Not very good. Even with this disgustingly low 37-point total, I am interested in Huntley. Chiefs at the Broncos. I'm not in the business of playing teams against the Broncos defense. They're pretty good, even as bad as the Broncos are offensively. And their badness on offense actually almost helps the defense in the sense that like teams don't really feel they need to score a lot against them. So it just reduces fantasy production. That one's gross. Even grosser here, Bucks at the 49ers. Ugh. 49ers coming in with the backup, Brock, Big Cock Brock as the quarterback, and the Bucks coming in with, you know, dusty Tom Brady, who's just not looking very good on the road. San Francisco defense looks like a great play in this spot, and just a disgusting game. This slate is setting up really interesting because 37 pointers and just these horrible low scoring games to stay away from, and then a couple of games to pop, and that's it. And so we're really going to know exactly which games to target. And another kind of meh game here is Panthers at Seattle, 43.5 point total. Seattle 3.5 point home favorites. Panthers looked a little bit better, weirdly, under Sam Darnold, but he does that. He does that in his first game. It takes him a couple games every year until the ghosts start popping up. He did this with the Jets. He did this with the Panthers last year too. So I don't expect a whole lot out of Sam Darnold, but certainly could make DJ Moore a thing, and even D'Onta Foreman. There's a couple of pieces on that side that might be of interest. Seattle may have lost Kenny Walker, so maybe there might be a backup running back, DJ Dallas or somebody like that we might be looking at later in the week. But I don't really want to go there for the first look. And finally, the Dolphins at the Chargers. That's the other big game of the week, right? I'm excited about this one. Go back to Tua with Tua. This Chargers defense is just awful. And offensively, they're good sometimes, they're bad sometimes. So that's a game I want to target across the board. So keep it in mind. Herbert, Tua, and his pass catchers. Herbert, whoever his guys are, Eckler and Palmer, and whoever's healthy for them, will be interested in them. And of course, the Detroit game is another one that pops. Detroit Vikings. So those are the two games that really, really stand out. And then there's some other spots that are interesting. So let's jump over to DraftKings. And I've got a new format for this. And what I'm going to do is pretty much build what I call like a least minimum viable player starting lineup. And then we'll show how we can upgrade from that. So I'm going to go through each position group, and I'm going to find the least expensive players that I feel comfortable, that I want, that I feel like I need to play this week. And we'll kind of roll from there. There might be some must plays, pay ups that we just use. And then we'll fill out the lineup with the extra money by plugging in studs at some of these spots. So let's start the quarterback position. And right up at the top, like I said, Josh Allen. I always like to play Josh Allen, but Jets defense is good, and it's probably not the spot where Allen is likely to go bonkers. Still, he's absolutely playable this week. Jalen Hurts, same deal. Not a great matchup, not a high-scoring game, but definitely in play. Mahomes, probably I'm less interested in him than the other two. Mahomes, at Denver. Denver games just score low. It doesn't seem like a spot that's likely to go off. Lamar Jackson, let's take a look at the blurb on Lamar here. And it says week to week, less likely to play this week. So I do not expect Lamar Jackson to play this week, which, again, brings Huntley into the mix. We'll see what he costs. Joe Burrow, yeah, I'm interested in Joe Burrow. If that game, again, if Deshaun Watson just kind of magically knocks the dust off, he got a game in, right? Didn't look good last week, but maybe it'll get a little better this week. So we'll have to pay attention to Watson's salary and this game in general, and the game total will tell the tale. Prescott, it's hard to trust Dak here in a smash game that seems like Dallas will lean on the run. So not going to be super excited about that. Deshaun Watson priced 6,400 reasonably. This guy was not very good last week. 12 for 22 against Houston. Interception, no touchdown. Ran it a couple times. 6 fantasy points. Got to watch out for Deshaun. It might take him the whole rest of the season to get his shit together, but I need to see it before I believe it. It's been a couple of years for him. Gino, this is not for a first look, but there's, I have some interest in Gino. If Kenny Walker's out, then Seattle might be forced to go back to throwing. And when he was throwing, he was having some big games. So, okay, Gino will be in the mix here. Kirk Cousins at Detroit. I haven't played Kirk Cousins yet this season. I'm not sure this will be the spot, but maybe is this the week to go to Kirk Cousins? And he's been so bad. They've been winning games, but he's been bad. Yeah, I mean, topping out in the I guess he got a 24 and a 23, but not been very good. But this is that matchup that we want a piece of. Detroit, you always want to get a piece of that. Let's keep going though. Jared Goff is really interesting here at 5,600, and he's going to absolutely be on my radar. Anytime Detroit is at home, you can play a little Goff, and this Lions team is not bad. They just beat the shit out of the Jaguars last week, so he's in my mix, and I almost am going to click the button for him. But let's look at a couple more spots, and I think I know where I'm going here. So we got Brady. Hell no. To the no. Do you want to play Brady at San Francisco? Should we? Maybe? Possibly? Hell no. To the no. No. We're not doing that. Mike White, Magic Mike, at Buffalo, no bueno. Magic Mike, even without throwing a touchdown last week, smashed for 22. I mean, we were all over Magic Mike, and man, if he just threw a touchdown, he would have been the nuts. It didn't matter. We had Hurts last week, and he went crazy, and that was awesome, and everybody won. DFS Army crushed it, so it didn't really matter. But to start off the build here, I'm gonna go with Huntley, and Tyler Huntley. Well, he's just 10 rushes, 41. He runs all over the place. This guy's given us Jalen Hurts level production in a sense. He put up 17 fantasy points in a 10-9 game against Denver. I think this game will be better. I think it'll be a better game environment. And I think at 5,500, Tyler Huntley is who I want to start my lineups with. He runs. He's basically a clone of Lamar Jackson, but Lamar Jackson is now too scared to run for the most part, or he has been trained against running by his coaching staff. They're not going to do that with Huntley. So let's plug in Huntley as our first play at the quarterback position. Now, shifting over to running back and starting all the way at the top, Christian McCaffrey, backfield all to himself, should be just fine here, even with the backup quarterback in play. So 8,500, a little pricey, but no problem. Barkley against the Eagles, hell no. Derrick Henry here is in a good spot against the Jaguars, so he's of interest for sure. Chubb is probably not somebody I want to play at this price. Dalvin Cook is another guy I haven't played in a while. I think he's massively overpriced, and it makes sense. Look at his average fantasy points, or his fantasy points per game. Average is 15.8. I mean, these other guys around him are scoring 20, and he's scoring 15. Even players below him are scoring 17 and just higher numbers. So Dalvin's just not been worth it for the most part this year. Joe Mixon, we don't know if he's going to play. Kenny Walker, don't think he's going to play. Tony Pollard, yes. Tony Pollard, oh my goodness. Even with just a few touches, 24 points last week. He could do that again, no problem. Etienne comes out of the game last week with an injury, not into that. Samaje Perine. Again, if Mixon's out again, that's going to be an all-in play for me. Zeke Elliott, no. I normally I just don't play Zeke Elliott. But here's who I am going to play, and I'm plugging him in. DeAndre Swift. Now take a look at the touches. 6 targets, 4 receptions, 14 carries last week. Jamal Williams, on the other hand, only 11 carries, no targets. So what's happening? Well, it looks like the shift has come around again, and we're going to get Swift back as the lead, or the guy who gets more touches than Jamal. Now, Jamal is still a touchdown masher. He's still going to get the ball on the goal line, but I think Swift is going to get us the exciting, the sexy plays. So let's plug in Swift right there and keep it moving. Singletary's a no for me. Isaiah Pacheco is playable. He's playable. Had another good week last week. 14 carries, couple targets. So he is the lead back. I don't love this matchup against Denver, but he's definitely inexpensive and playable. Fournette and White in this matchup? No. No. No, I can't go there. No. But D'Onta Foreman is really interesting. And again, Foreman, 24 carry. He's still getting a lot of work. They don't really have anybody else or anything else going on in Carolina at the running back position. And now he gets Seattle. Seattle's not very good against the run. So D'Onta Foreman playable, but just don't expect much via the pass. Scrolling on down, that's about as low priced of a player as I can think of right now. Jerick McKinnon, no. James Cook, no. Some of these are GPP only kind of tournament situations, but for the most part, that takes us through the running back position. So for my second spot, it is tricky at running back. I'd love to plug in Samaji or quote unquote Cincinnati running back here, as Cleveland is absolutely horrific against the running back position. But I don't really know if it's going to be Mixon or Samaji. I'm going to plug in Samaji for now. But admittedly, we might have to move off of that because I don't think he's actually going to start. All right. Continue on. Let's go to the defense and see if we can find our minimum viable defense here. Carolina at Seattle, no. Jets, no. Cleveland, no. Jacksonville, no. Pittsburgh, maybe. Tampa at San Francisco, maybe. Detroit, Minnesota, Detroit. 49ers defense, I like. So right now I'm going to plug in 49ers. And I know it's kind of a weird minimum viable defense as they're not that cheap. But, I mean, I can't see playing any of these teams. Jaguars? No. Tampa? Maybe. So, but they're all pretty close together. So the cheapest of the defenses are just not viable. And so we're going to have to pay up a little bit. Maybe as the week progresses, we'll come up with an idea there. But for now, you can plug in the 49ers. I actually really like them here. Tampa sucks. And 49ers will have to do a lot in order to win this game. So I'm comfortable with that. And there's some other good defense plays if we have a little salary left over at the end. Okay, taking a look at wide receivers. So obviously there are two names that I really, really want this week, but we won't be able to afford them, especially not in sort of a construction that starts cheap and works our way up. But Justin Jefferson in a smash spot against it. This is the game we want to target. So Minnesota, Detroit, everything from it. I want a piece of Justin Jefferson. Of course, I love that. Stephon Diggs. Again, I'm going to favor Justin Jefferson over Diggs primarily for the matchup. AJ Brown smashed last week. He was one of our top plays. And, I see more of the same happening. Jamar Chase should be very, very low owned in this matchup. Rightfully low owned because he's right now. He's sandwiched in between some really good plays. But Amon-Ra is basically a must play at this point. And even in a bottom up kind of build, I am plugging in Amon-Ra because you gotta. He was another core play last week, 12 targets, 11 receptions. I mean, it's just ridiculous what he's doing right now. So love Amon-Ra. DK Metcalf, big game, coming off a big game as well. And it's playable here. Higgins, playable. Godwin, fine. Kirk, very much in play. Had the big week last week as well. 20 points. Just didn't stand out because some of the other plays for cheaper did the same. Let's see who else. Amari Cooper. Sure, why not? Garrett Wilson. This is not the week to go back to Wilson. We've had him the last few weeks with Magic Mike, but this week at Buffalo, he's still playable, but I'm a little less high on him than I have been. Ayuk, no. Schuster, not really. DJ Moore, maybe. Jerry Jeudy, no. Gabriel Davis is somebody I'm kind of interested in. I'm telling you, I just have this thought that Davis, with Sauce Gardner on Diggs, maybe this is Davis's week. It just makes sense. I got a feeling about it. So let's keep him in mind. Deontay Johnson, no. Boyd, no. Pickens, no. Pickens is actually playable here, but that game isn't an exciting game environment to be around. Let's see if there's anybody else down the list here. Jameson Williams. Did he get any targets? 1 target last week. Look for Jameson Williams to get better each week, but a little too soon. Another potential play here is DJ Shark. Again, part of this exciting game that I'd want a piece of. And he's priced pretty reasonably here for guys getting some targets. So I'm interested in him. Isaiah McKenzie's another one. Playable, not somebody I'm in love with at this price point, but definitely somebody that is playable. So let me just continue down, see if there's anybody any cheaper that I want to mess with here. I mean, Isaiah Hodgins down here in this lower zone, 6 targets, 4 targets, 3. I mean, he's been getting some looks, he's been getting some work, but the price has come up, actually still pretty cheap. Kendall Hinton kind of phased out now that Jerry Jeudy is back. And I actually think Jerry Jeudy might be of interest, but let's continue this build. And for this next spot, I'm actually going to plug in. I was going to plug in George Pickens, but I'm going to plug in Gabriel Davis. I really like that narrative of Diggs being covered by Sauce and the backup wide receiver stepping in there. Now I'm not sure I'm going to keep that going, but that's an initial thing. Another player I'm going to plug in here is DJ Moore. And again, not part of the sexy games of the week, but you can't load up exclusively on those. But with DJ Moore, listen, one thing about Sam Darnold, he does tend to hone in on his number one targets. One of the reasons he's not very good, but he just kind of will go back to the same guy over and over again. So I'm going to plug in DJ Moore there as well. And we'll kind of see if that's how we end up. All right, let's take a look at tight end position, top to bottom. And starting at the top again, we got Travis Kelce. Not a good enough matchup really for me to get super excited about paying all the way up for a tight end. Mark Andrews with the backup quarterback. You know what? Mark Andrews did really well with Huntley last year when they played together. So I don't expect much of a drop off at all. I think it'd be fine. TJ Hawkinson, that is someone I'm interested in here. Again, part of this Minnesota at Detroit sexy game that I just want a piece of. Schultz, I don't know about this game. I always like Schultz, but this game itself, Dallas just going to smash. I don't like it. Not competitive. And then continuing down, Dolchik continues to have acceptable performances. He had an acceptable 8-target, pretty decent score last week. And Dolchich, I hate playing him, but Dolchich is actually viable. I think he's the cheapest viable option, and I'm going to plug him in. And for the final spot, let's give the flex position a look and see if we can have some leftover budget. So Pacheco, not that great. Rashad White. I think it's Jerry Jeudy. I really do. I think it's Jerry Jeudy down here. Should get some targets. Denver's going to need to be throwing in that game. So I don't love it. I don't love having a bunch of Denver pieces, but I've got salary left over. So from here, we've got 1,800 salary. In our basic lineup here, we got Huntley, Swift, Pirine, St. Brown, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to switch this up a little bit and get into a more finalized. And the first thing I'm going to do, I love Huntley, don't get me wrong, but I also like to kind of stack a lineup up. So since I have Amon-Ra in here, I'm going to add DJ Shark and do a little bit of a Minnesota-Detroit stack here because that's the game that I want the piece of the most. And to round it off, I'm going to throw Hawkinson in here from Minnesota so we can get a bring back. Now, in my perfect world, I would love to be able to find a way to squeeze Justin Jefferson into a lineup. But let's see if we could do it. Let's see if we could pull that off. How do we get Justin Jefferson? So at this point, we've got Goff, Swift, DJ Moore, Amon-Ra. So if I plug in Justin Jefferson, I've got 2,500 left. That's not going to work. So where can I save some more budget so I can get a reasonable tight end? So let's go with a different tight end. Let's see if there's anybody here that is even mildly acceptable. How about Austin Hooper, which would leave us with 5,100, Tyler Boyd, Pickens, and I think Donovan Peoples-Jones is not bad. I mean, there's a few spots here, but I'm going to put in George Pickens. Pickens was bitching about his targets and wanting more. I'm really not happy with it. You know what? I don't like the number of targets he's been getting. Let's see if we can find Slayton. I don't like that matchup at all. Burks would be good if he was going to play. feeling better. Have to see progresses. So maybe a Treylon Burks for this last spot. Actually, you know what? We're going to play Jefferson. We got to play him in the wide receiver spot. And let's see if maybe there's a running back here. Well, can go with Hawkinson. Double tight end. I think whoever becomes the running back for Seattle is going to be somebody we're going to be interested in here. But I'm going to plug in Hawkinson here for the last spot. No, it's double tight end and probably would not be a lineup I'd normally make on a main slate. But we end up with a really fun Minnesota at Detroit stack here. Goff, Swift, St. Brown, Shark. It's too many pieces. But Jefferson, Hawkinson on the bringbacks, Austin Hooper, 49ers defense. There we go. That's a first look lineup. Again, couple games, important notes here. 2 games to really target with that Vikings game, as well as we didn't even really get pieces from it, but the other game being, wait a minute. Hold up. Did they flex that bad boy? They flex it? Yeah, Miami at the Chargers. Yeah, okay, that's a night game. So forget that one. That's not even part of this slate. So really, there's just one game. Yeah, it's just the one game on the main slate that really stands out. And maybe this Bengals-Browns game a little bit, but yeah, 53.5 pointer. And then every other game, yeah, this one is a Monday night, is a Sunday night. So there you have it. One game to rule the others. That'll do it for the DraftKings first look. Good luck this week, everybody.